Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily Dizzle. I got my addictions and my problems. Bitch, you have an easy life. Ah! Welcome, everyone, to the Daily Dizzle Weekend Update. Today we've got a look at the box office estimates for the weekend ending Sunday, March 13th, 2011. And Battle Los Angeles looked like it invaded the box office pretty strongly. Ended up taking in $36 million for the weekend. Actually ended up having the biggest Friday opening for the year so far with $13.7 million. Ended up dropping off a little bit by the end of the weekend, but still ended up holding the #1 spot. It made half of its budget back. Even worst case scenario with a lot of these big budget alien movies that kind of open strong and then do drop off, they make twice what they make at the box office in their opening weekend. So at the very least they'll make a little bit of money in the long run. Meanwhile, #2 was last weekend's top movie, Rango. Ended up with $23 million. It's sitting just shy of $70 million right now, so it's about halfway back to its budget, but should be continuing its strong performance. Meanwhile, #3 was another new opener, Red Riding Hood, taking in just over $14 million, which was kind of on the low end of expectations. If you look back a couple years to Cursed, the werewolf movie that Wes Craven did that had to keep reshooting and went through like pretty much a complete re-edit where they ended up releasing 2 different versions of the movie on DVD. Yeah, it pretty much had the same attendance as that movie, which was considered a bomb. It'll struggle to recoup its expenses at the box office as it opened to only a third of its budget, and these movies tend to really drop off sharply, making maybe twice what they open to. So really, hopefully we don't see any more werewolf/Twilight adaptations on old fairy tales. Under that, #4, we have the Adjustment Bureau. Ended up making shy of $11.5 million. It's sitting at over $38 million altogether at this point. So it's making more money than Matt Damon has been making lately. #5, though, we've got the biggest bomb probably in history when all things are considered. Mars Needs Moms, marketed by Disney. It's a kids' 3D animated movie. You figure that they got to make a little bit of money, right? Even with the more expensive ticket prices and everything, for the whole weekend, it didn't even make $7 million, even with a price tag of $150 million. So everyone wanted to talk about how do you know being a huge bomb. This is going to make that one look like a huge money maker because the subject matter is just not appealing. It's also interesting when all things are considered with Buena Vista having released Romeo and Juliet under one of their other labels, under Touchstone Pictures, which is kind of where they throw movies that they're like, hey, we can't put the Disney label on this. Even though it was a kid's movie, it was 3D. And Mars Needs Moms is going to be lucky if it can make, 20% of what Romeo and Juliet made, despite being released by the more powerful arm. So we'll have to see if it drops off sharply. Hopefully it will. Hopefully it will. Hopefully it will. #6 was Hall Pass, still holding up okay. Not doing fantastic, but it's just shy of its budget right now. Took in another $5 million for the weekend. Beastly did the same. Even though it didn't open huge, it's still just shy of its budget as well, if you're looking at just the American gross. But as we said, it already made back its budget at the worldwide, so it's just making money. So I guess they're not going to stop making all these modern fairy tales. Just hopefully they'll do it a little bit more High School Musical and not Twilight. I can't believe I just said I hope they do something High School Musical. Ugh. The taste of vomit in my mouth is a little overwhelming. Alright, let's carry on. #8, just go with it, Adam Sandler's movie, adding another $4 million. It's sitting just shy of $94 million, so another couple weeks, maybe next weekend, probably the weekend after, it should be another $100 million movie for Adam Sandler's career, keeping his streak alive. Right under him at #9, we have The King's Speech, adding another $3.5 million. It's sitting at $129 million altogether. And on top of that, it's actually just hitting its peak at the worldwide box office, which is something of an anomaly when you consider how long it's been playing at the American box office. Now going into its 16th weekend, that's 4 months, and it's just peaking elsewhere. It's doing the Black Swan, which at the very least guarantees $100 million wherever it goes. So that's a lot of money for the Weinsteins, so they can keep releasing PG-13 and PG versions of your favorite R-rated movies. Rounding out the bottom 3 of the top 12, we had Romeo and Juliet, adding $3.5 million as well. That sits at $89 million altogether. Definitely recommend that if you need a random movie to go kill some time. It never hurts to go see Jason Statham and both young and old Charles Xavier doing voices of gnomes and Shakespeare or whatever. It really is hilarious. Go see it. Number 11, Liam Neeson and Unknown, adding $3.3 million, so that's sitting at shy of $60 million altogether, but that's still twice of what its budget is, so Liam Neeson proving to still be a moneymaker in Hollywood. At number 12, we had I Am Number 4. Despite the fact that Mars Needs Bombs is really a bomb, it really helped I Am Number 4 get cut off a little bit this weekend as it dropped over 60%. That really having to do with the fact that it had been released in the IMAX and 3D theaters as well. Meanwhile, to round out the weekend update, let's say goodbye to the movies that were in the top 12 last weekend and unfortunately dropped out this weekend. Take Me Home Tonight with Topher Grace dropped over 60%, which is very, very above the norm for a second weekend drop, unless it's a movie that's, bombing. It really could also be attributed to the fact that anywhere you look for showtimes, they went from showing at like 5 times a day to maybe once, twice if you're lucky. So, way to go, Relativity, for not having a good release contract and making the theaters, I don't know, show the movie more than once a day. But luckily, to make up for the fact that we're burned about Topher Grace dropping out, there's 2 movies that are oh so justified and also felt a very, very significant brunt of just all the other movies in general, and will end up being not huge bombs, but at the same time, it will be noted that they dropped off significantly on this weekend. You had big mamas like Father Like Son. It's made back its budget at this point, but still had an over 60% drop in this 4th weekend, despite the fact that it really didn't lose more than half of its theaters. So that's showing that people might not want to see any more Big Mama movies. Thank God. And also feeling the brunt of the 3D screen drop, Justin Bieber lost close to half of his screens, and he took a 69% drop in his 5th weekend out. In raw dollars, it is still the highest grossing concert movie that has been ever released. So that's really not that impressive when you look at the competition of the Michael Jackson movie and Hannah Montana. Really, they haven't had any good movies, so it really shouldn't be hard to top that. So hopefully some really decent musical acts will eventually come along, even though it will be cheesy and gimmicky to see them in 3D. It would really be awesome to see, I don't know, not teeny boppers topping this genre. But still, at the very least, his 69% drop is probably the closest that Justin Bieber will be getting to his 69 anytime soon, now that he's trying to have a good image. Did you hear about how he was trying to get rid of all the alcohol in his room? He was like, I don't want it here. Can you guys clear it out to the hotel? Because he's, I don't want to send the wrong message to my fans. Maybe that's why he dropped off so much this weekend. Maybe you can only listen to Justin Bieber if you are drunk. So that's all the time we've got on the Daily Dizzle Weekend Update for today, but we do thank you guys for joining us here as always. Don't forget to check us out Monday through Friday. You can go ahead and click the username Dizzlemits or go to youtube.com/Dizzlemits. Be sure to check back late tonight. We'll be sure to have the footage that we've got from the TNA house show that we attended the other night uploaded. Some of it's going to be cell phone footage, so it's not going to be the greatest thing ever, and some of the sound quality might suck, so we're going to have to give it a little bit of an entertaining Tommy Dizzlemits touch. So be sure to check that out when we get that posted. For the Daily Dizzle and the Weekend Update, I am Tommy Dizzlemits. We'll see you later tonight.